Karoline Leavitt has been twisting herself into a pretzel, as she will be doing every day, and as she has been doing, because she was on the campaign trail with Donald Trump, and she did this show actually a few months ago. She's an election denier, and she will lie with her cross on her neck. She will lie and say and do everything that Donald Trump tells her to do. She will lie for Donald Trump, like so many others have done as well. But she actually embarrassed herself on Fox News yesterday because one of the anchors over there, Roberts, who he's okay. Sometimes he challenges Republicans. It's very rare, but he did challenge Karoline Leavitt in talking about Donald Trump's announcement to take over Gaza. I want you to listen to this exchange because Roberts does make a really good point. Well, wait a second. I thought this was Make America First. Why would you get involved in foreign entanglements? And listen to the way Karoline Leavitt responds to this.
That's about the president's announcement on Gaza the other day, which seemed to take staff members by surprise. It's something that he had talked about, but they didn't know he was going to make an announcement. A few people I've talked to who worked there at the White House, when they heard that, they said, wait, what? I mean, it's an idea. Some people think that he's laying down the gauntlet to our allies to say, well, if you don't like this idea, have you got a better idea? But the question I have is he went through the campaign saying that he wanted to get the United States out of its involvement in foreign entanglements. This would seem to be exactly the opposite of that.
I don't think so, John. The president has made it clear that he will not be sending boots on the ground in Gaza. He is not committed to that. He also has made it clear that American taxpayers will not be funding this effort. The president is trying to strike a deal to ensure that Gaza can actually be a habitable place for human beings who want to live in peace with real economic development. And President Trump is an outside of the box thinker. That's again why the American people elected him, because he has a different perspective to the foreign policy challenges that have been plaguing our world for many, many years. And so this is a great idea, and our partners in the region have begun to discuss it with this administration. We have the King of Bahrain coming to the White House next week, and the president has spoken to many of our partners and allies in the Middle East about this opportunity in Gaza.
Really? Who have you spoken to in the Middle East? Can you give some names? Notice how Karoline Leavitt doesn't give any names. And actually, Roberts asked a very fair question, which obviously Karoline Leavitt does not answer. So that's a part of what she said. Another part of what she said was that, no, she thinks this is a great idea. I'm wondering if Donald Trump had campaigned on Make America First and we are going to, make a resort in Gaza, displace 2 million Palestinians. I'm wondering how people would have taken that. Now, let me repeat myself when I say this. Do I think that Donald Trump is going to take over and own Gaza? Probably not. Do I think there are going to be troops on the ground in Gaza? Probably not. But just the idea that he makes a statement like that and he thinks he's a brilliant negotiator, the fact that he would make a statement like that, you're basically threatening to break the law and take over a sovereign nation. And they haven't even explained themselves. When Karoline Leavitt was asked at the White House press briefing yesterday, wait a second, how are you going to displace 2 million Palestinians living in Gaza? Well, the president didn't necessarily say he was going to do that. Well, then what is he saying? You're going to take over Gaza and you're going to displace 2 million Palestinians. Where do they go? Caitlin Collins from CNN asked that very question. Where are you going to put all these people? They don't have an answer because they haven't even thought it through. Here's what happened. I think this was a very spontaneous thing. I think that he told one of his speechwriters probably not that long before the press conference to put it down in writing so he didn't forget, and he was going to use it as some sort of negotiating tool, right? The great negotiator, the guy that's had so many of his casinos and so many of his businesses file for bankruptcy, but he's such a wonderful negotiator, right, isn't he? And then he and Benjamin Netanyahu exchanged pleasantries. I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine. Mr. President, I will say that you are the best president when it comes to our allies and what you've done for us in Israel. I will praise you in front of your media and some of my media if you do this, this, and this for me. That's exactly what both of them did. This is the leader of the free world, ladies and gentlemen. And Donald Trump said in his Truth Social tweet, and talking about the Palestinians, 2 million of them plus that he wants to displace, they would actually have a chance to be happy, safe, and free. The U.S., working with great development teams from all over the world, would slowly and carefully begin the construction of what would become one of the greatest and most spectacular developments of its kind on Earth. No soldiers by the U.S. would be needed. Stability for the region would reign. Okay, but Donald Trump said yesterday that there's a possibility that soldiers would be needed. Can you imagine? If you're a family member and you're a Gold Star family, whatever the case may be, imagine if you're a family that actually has some of your kids that are on active duty and they found out that there's a possibility that 1 or 2 or more of your kids that are on active duty would be going out to Gaza because Donald Trump wants to, quote, own Gaza and Jared Kushner wants to turn it into a resort. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? I'm not going to sit here and say there's no chance that that could happen. I doubt it'll happen, but I'm not going to sit here and say there's no chance. Whatever happened to his Make America First agenda? While you have Elon Musk that is $300 to $400 billion richer. Actually, some would say more than that. Maybe it's $1 trillion. I don't know. Maybe it's $1 billion. I wouldn't say it's $1 trillion, but certainly Elon Musk has profited greatly. I think it's fair to say he's made billions already off of Donald Trump and his administration in the first several weeks. I think that's very fair to say. Is this a Make America First agenda, Make America First, or is this a Make My Billionaire Tech Friends First agenda? I think we all know the answer to that one.